To rebuild yourself like a ruthless strategist, the first step is to abandon every illusion you've been clinging to. The world doesn't reward excuses, hope, or half-hearted efforts. It rewards calculated, relentless action. Most people operate on autopilot, letting their emotions dictate their decisions, reacting to circumstances instead of shaping them. If you wish to rise above the mediocrity of the masses, you must sever ties with everything that keeps you weak. This is not about temporary motivation or superficial self-help pep talks. This is about forging a mindset so disciplined, so unyielding, that you stop being vulnerable to distraction, manipulation, or doubt. The first task is ruthless self-examination. You must map every corner of your mental landscape, identifying where you are compliant, where you hesitate, where fear and doubt control you. Every flaw, every insecurity is a foothold for others to influence you. Accept that these exist, not as mere obstacles, but as weaknesses in your armor. Recognize that the moment you deny or hide them, you surrender power. A strategist thrives on clarity. Clarity about the environment, clarity about others, and most importantly, clarity about self. Next comes detachment. Emotional detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means sovereignty over your reactions. The weak are enslaved by their feelings. They are elated by praise, crushed by criticism, obsessed with approval. The ruthless strategist feels, yes, but does not act purely on impulse. Learn to observe your emotions as an external force, a data point to inform your decisions. Fear is not eradicated, but harnessed. Anger is not suppressed, but directed. Doubt is not ignored, but confronted. In this way, every inner storm becomes an instrument for calculated action, rather than a chain to hold you back. Habits define strategy. The daily rituals you maintain are the skeleton of your new self. Laziness, procrastination, and indecision must be replaced with routines that reinforce power, clarity, and mental resilience. Begin with small victories. Wake up with intent. Focus on deliberate actions that yield tangible results, and refuse to indulge in distractions. Each small conquest strengthens discipline, forging a chain of victories that the mind internalizes. By the time grand challenges arrive, you are no longer intimidated. You are equipped. Isolation is your ally. Not social isolation, but strategic isolation. Surrounding yourself with the unambitious, the fearful, the weak-minded dilutes your energy, saps your focus, and blinds you to the reality of power. Position yourself among thinkers, doers, and those whose ambition mirrors your own. Or learn to operate alone, trusting only in the strategic strength of your own mind. In solitude, clarity emerges. In clarity, you plot. And in plotting, you regain control over your life. Step by step, strategy by strategy. Information is a weapon. Begin to observe the dynamics around you. Patterns of behavior, weaknesses of influence, methods of persuasion, and strategies that others use to gain advantage. A ruthless strategist doesn't merely react to events. He anticipates them. He understands that knowledge is leverage, and leverage is power. Cultivate the habit of noticing subtle cues, absorbing lessons from every interaction, and translating insight into action. In this accumulation of mental resources, you build an invisible arsenal no one can see, but everyone eventually feels. Finally, embrace the discomfort of transformation. Rebuilding yourself is not a journey of comfort. It is a crucible of constant pressure. It demands that you confront the parts of yourself you've ignored, the decisions you've deferred, and the truths you've avoided. You will encounter resistance, not from the world, but from within. Every weakness you confront will scream for surrender. Every step into discipline will feel unnatural at first. And yet, this is the forging of a new self, resilient, disciplined, unyielding. Those who endure this crucible emerge strategically superior, no longer victim to circumstance, but architects of their destiny. The first step is brutal. Clear and uncompromising. Examine yourself. Detach, build strategic habits, choose your environment wisely, gather information, and embrace discomfort. By mastering these fundamentals, you lay the foundation for a mind that no longer bows to fear, doubt, or distraction. This is the bedrock upon which all ruthless strategies are built. Number 2, mastering mental sovereignty. Once you have laid the foundation of your ruthless rebuilding, the next battlefield is your mind itself. The mind is where wars are won or lost long before they ever reach the outside world. A strategist who cannot command his thoughts will always remain a pawn in the hands of circumstance. Mastery over your mental landscape is not optional, it is essential. To be untouchable, you must learn to navigate, dominate, and manipulate your own consciousness with precision. Begin by observing the patterns of your thought. Every fear, every lingering doubt, every recurring hesitation is a signal, a weak point in your armor. Identify these with the cold precision of a general mapping enemy lines. Which thoughts distract you? Which narratives keep you compliant, cautious, or subservient? The act of observation alone is a weapon. Awareness transforms passive weakness into actionable intelligence. Every mental slip becomes data, every fleeting panic a lesson in your evolution toward power. Control your focus relentlessly. The undisciplined mind flits from task to task, emotion to emotion, subject to external chaos. The strategist, however, treats attention as a finite resource, one to be deployed with extreme care. Choose your battles, even internally. Learn to shut out noise, the constant chatter of social media, the manipulations of friends, the petty dramas of everyday life. Each diversion that you refuse is a victory in itself. Each moment reclaimed becomes ammunition for future conquests. Next, cultivate emotional clarity. Emotions are inevitable. They are the raw material of decision-making. But left unchecked, they become your undoing. The first step is naming them without judgment. Fear, anger, envy, desire, all are natural. Recognize them as tools rather than masters. Harness anger to fuel decisive action. Transform fear into calculated caution. Convert desire into the drive that propels you relentlessly toward objectives. Every emotion, once understood, becomes a lever. Every uncontrolled emotion, by contrast, is a trap set for you by your own mind. Train your mind in strategic patience. Impulses are the downfall of the weak. The strategist understands the value of timing, of waiting for the optimal moment to act while others stumble in haste. Patience is not passivity, it is the quiet accumulation of advantage. While others exhaust themselves in reaction, you plan. While others are enslaved by their immediate gratification, you position yourself for exponential gain. Strategic patience is an invisible shield. It protects your mind from panic and your actions from error. Mental sovereignty demands eliminating dependence on validation. Most people are driven by approval, trapped in a cycle of seeking affirmation from peers, family, or society. This weakness makes them predictable and pliable. A ruthless strategist rejects this need entirely. Your worth is measured by your results, your decisions, and your mastery over circumstance, not by the applause or disapproval of others. Freed from this dependency, your mind becomes untouchable. No criticism can unsettle you. No praise can corrupt you. Another key aspect is reframing adversity. Life will present obstacles, betrayals, failures, and losses. The weak see these as punishment, injustice, or reason to surrender. The strategist perceives them as opportunities, as the raw material of growth. Every setback is a test of adaptability. Every betrayal a lesson in the psychology of others. Every failure a step closer to precision in action. By reframing hardship, you convert pain into strategy, chaos into leverage, and limitation into advantage. Visualization is another tool of the mind. Every great strategist imagines outcomes before they occur. Before a decisive move, imagine every possible reaction, every contingency, every variable. Train yourself to anticipate challenges before they arrive. Mental rehearsal strengthens confidence and exposes vulnerability. The more vividly you foresee potential obstacles, the fewer surprises the external world can inflict. In essence, the mind becomes a preemptive battlefield where victory is claimed before the first step is taken. Discipline of thought is critical. The untrained mind is a chaotic battlefield, random fears, impulsive desires, and habitual doubts running rampant. Imposing discipline requires consistent practice, scheduling reflection, journaling insights, meditating on choices, and eliminating thought patterns that serve no strategic purpose. Each disciplined session strengthens the neural architecture of focus, clarity, and resilience. Over time, your mind stops wandering. It becomes a sharp, precise instrument capable of cutting through distraction with surgical accuracy. Guard your mental resources jealously. Thoughts, attention, and time are currencies. Every conversation that wastes your focus, every worry over what others think, every indulgence in petty dramas depletes your reserves. Spend your mental energy only on pursuits that compound your power, your clarity, and your strategy. The weak scatter their focus. The ruthless consolidate it. One controlled mind, focused on purpose, achieves what 10 aimless minds cannot. Finally, embrace self-deception only to the extent it serves strategy. Many people are slaves to illusions. They tell themselves comforting lies about reality, about themselves, about others. The ruthless strategist sees truth clearly, but he also understands that perception can be manipulated, both in others and in oneself. Learn to navigate the fine line between clarity and strategic self-narratives. Accept truth without flinching, but shape perception to guide actions effectively. In this dual mastery, your mind becomes both shield and weapon, impervious to manipulation and capable of subtle domination. By mastering mental sovereignty, you no longer react to life, you direct it. Fear, doubt, and indecision are rendered powerless. The mind becomes your fortress, your armory, and your engine of strategy. It is here, in the unseen domain of thoughts, emotions, and focus, that the ruthless strategist establishes control over destiny. Every decision becomes deliberate, every action calculated, every outcome manipulated with foresight. This is the essence of mental invincibility: to think, feel, and act with precision that no external chaos can disrupt. Number 3. Harnessing the power of perception. In the theater of power, perception is far more potent than reality. The world does not judge truth. It judges appearance. The weak assume honesty alone will suffice, that virtue or transparency can shield them. The ruthless strategist knows better. Mastery of perception is mastery over influence, control, and survival itself. To outmaneuver every opponent, you must first control how they see you, how they anticipate your actions, and how they interpret your intentions. Begin by crafting an aura of unassailable confidence. People are naturally drawn to those who appear competent, decisive, and unwavering. Your posture, tone, and expressions convey a message far louder than your words. Walk into a room with the precision of someone who owns it. Speak with the clarity of someone who cannot be questioned, and act with decisiveness that leaves no room for doubt. Confidence is contagious, and it disarms even the sharpest minds. To manipulate perception, you must embody certainty, even when uncertainty lurks beneath the surface. Control the flow of information relentlessly. The strategist understands that knowledge is a weapon, and how it is distributed shapes outcomes. Do not reveal your intentions prematurely. Allow others to believe they understand your plan while they remain blind to your true moves. Silence is a strategic tool. It creates space for anticipation, speculation, and overconfidence in your adversaries. Every carefully timed disclosure strengthens your position. Every unnecessary confession weakens it. The world is a battlefield of narratives, and your words are the arrows you launch with precision. Appearances can also be used to create intimidation. Subtle cues, calmness in chaos, measured speech during conflict, and composure under scrutiny establish dominance without a single overt confrontation. People fear what they do not fully understand, what they cannot predict. By controlling how others interpret your actions, you instill respect, hesitation, and sometimes outright submission. The strategist rarely needs to fight. He simply shapes perception until opposition crumbles under its own uncertainty. Manipulate alliances carefully. Social perception extends beyond individual impression to the networks of influence around you. Who associates with you, who supports you, and how those associations are perceived amplify your power. Align yourself visibly with strength, wisdom, and respect. Distance yourself subtly from weakness, instability, or failure. This is not cruelty. It is the language of survival and influence. The perception of your company informs the perception of you, and every connection must serve the grand design of your ascent. The strategist also exploits the human tendency to underestimate what is unseen. Most individuals are comfortable evaluating only what they perceive directly. Use this to your advantage. Conceal your full capabilities, the depth of your strategy, and the breadth of your plans. Allow others to misjudge your strength, then strike when their assumptions betray them. Predictability is vulnerability. Obscurity is a weapon. By managing what is revealed and what remains hidden, you create the illusion of simplicity while wielding complexity as a decisive edge. Mimicry is another subtle tool of perception. People naturally gravitate toward familiarity. Learn to mirror the tone, gestures, and attitudes of those you wish to influence. It creates a false sense of alignment, lowering defenses and inviting trust. But unlike the naive, the strategist does not surrender his identity. He adapts only to guide perception strategically, drawing others into the web he controls. By appearing as one of them, you gain insight, influence, and leverage over their decisions. Perception of inevitability is critical. Humans are wired to respond to what seems inevitable. Position your actions and plans so that they appear the natural progression of events. Let opponents believe their choices lead them where you intend. When your moves seem destined rather than forced, resistance fades, compliance is secured, and control solidifies. The mind that can project inevitability becomes nearly untouchable, because opposition feels futile even before it manifests. Master the art of selective exposure. Present only what strengthens your influence, conceals your weaknesses, and exaggerates your advantages. Every public statement, every social interaction, every visible achievement should be intentional. The strategist treats life as a stage and perception as the script. Leave nothing to chance. When the world sees you, it should see precisely what you want it to see, and nothing more. Subtlety is key. The less obvious the manipulation, the more effective it becomes. Even within conflict, perception dominates over raw force. A single calculated gesture, a calm response to provocation, a composed retort to insult, carries more weight than hours of argument or displays of strength. Your adversaries internalize your calm as superiority. They question their own judgment. Doubt seeps in. By controlling perception, you win battles without lifting a finger, leaving opponents disoriented, frustrated, and vulnerable to future maneuvers. Finally, perception shapes reality over time. What people believe about you influences how they act, and actions solidify the narrative. Influence perception relentlessly, and reality itself bends to your strategic design. Others will adjust, comply, and defer without realizing they have done so. You become the unseen architect of outcomes, the silent force steering events. Power is not always the result of action. It is the product of perception executed with surgical precision. By mastering the art of perception, you render your intentions invisible, your strengths amplified, and your influence unavoidable. The world is no longer a chaotic arena where events dictate terms. It becomes a carefully choreographed stage where you alone dictate roles, expectations, and outcomes. The mind that can shape perception controls the actions of others before they even conceive of resistance. And in this mastery, the ruthless strategist solidifies his untouchable position, not through brute force, but through the subtle, unrelenting power of how he is seen and how he guides what others believe. Number 4, exploiting weakness and turning opposition into advantage. In the battlefield of human interaction, the first truth a strategist must grasp is that every mind harbors weakness. To survive, thrive, and dominate, one must identify, analyze, and exploit these vulnerabilities with precision. Not all adversaries reveal their flaws willingly. Some hide behind arrogance, overconfidence, or charm. Some mask uncertainty with aggression. The strategist, however, sees beneath the surface. He observes hesitation, tests reactions, and listens for the faintest tremor of doubt. These subtle indicators, invisible to the untrained eye, become levers of influence. Understanding weakness is more than spotting vulnerability. It is decoding the psychology that drives behavior. Every decision, every hesitation, every overreaction carries a story. Humans are predictable when pressures mount. Fear amplifies desire for safety, envy distorts judgment, and pride blinds rational thought. By recognizing these patterns, a strategist converts observation into opportunity. He learns to act not against the surface, but against the underlying currents that shape behavior. Patience is essential. A premature strike wastes energy, exposes intent, and alerts the target. The strategist waits, often silently, letting others reveal themselves through their choices, miscalculations, and emotions. When the moment is right, action becomes decisive and unstoppable, calibrated precisely to exploit revealed weakness. Timing is not merely important, it is the difference between triumph and irrelevance. The world rewards those who can endure, observe, and strike at the perfect juncture. Opposition is a gift, if understood correctly. Every challenge, conflict, or competitor contains within it the tools for your ascent. By turning resistance into opportunity, the strategist transforms threats into leverage. A rival's overconfidence becomes a trap, their impatience a doorway, their pride a weapon in your hands. You must read people like a map, tracing routes of influence and areas of susceptibility. Then maneuver with unrelenting subtlety until victory is achieved without exposing your own weaknesses. Deception is a natural ally in this process. Present a reality skewed to benefit your strategy. Lead adversaries to underestimate your strength or misread your intentions. Let them overcommit to misguided assumptions while you consolidate your position. The mind that can manipulate belief without resorting to brute force wields the highest form of control. Subtlety, misdirection, and the careful orchestration of perception make resistance crumble almost invisibly. However, exploiting weakness is not merely about attacking others. It is about shaping your own environment. Ensure that every interaction, every negotiation, and every alliance is structured to amplify your advantage. Preemptively reduce your exposure to risk, control the variables you can, and anticipate the responses that emerge from human instinct. Power is not just about dominance. It is about steering circumstances so that the options left to others inevitably favor your objectives. Observation is as important as action. Watch how others respond under stress, pressure, or temptation. Notice patterns in behavior: who overreacts, who falters, who misjudges, and who follows blindly. Each revealed flaw is a piece of a puzzle, a map that guides your strategy. The more you understand, the more precise your actions become. Knowledge of weakness is not power until it is applied with foresight, patience, and deliberate calculation. Silence and restraint are tools as sharp as any weapon. Often the most devastating advantage comes from doing nothing visibly at all. Allow others to reveal their flaws, commit errors, or exhaust themselves with futile maneuvers. When they have laid bare the architecture of their own weaknesses, you strike decisively, efficiently, and without unnecessary expenditure of energy. Inaction can be a form of power, especially when it forces others into the illusion of control while you manipulate the outcome from behind the scenes. Adaptability multiplies the effectiveness of exploiting weakness. No two adversaries are alike. A tactic effective against one may fail against another. The strategist must continuously calibrate responses, shifting approach and strategy to align with the unique psychology, habits, and vulnerabilities of each individual or group. Rigidity is fatal. Flexibility allows the mind to bend circumstances without breaking, exploiting every fluctuation in opportunity with ruthless precision. Furthermore, the strategist understands the long-term effects of each exploit. Every maneuver leaves traces, sometimes visible, sometimes subtle. A single exploitation can sow seeds of caution, fear, or respect that influence behavior indefinitely. The art is to extract advantage while minimizing exposure to retaliation. Do not overreach, for the most dangerous opponent is not the one who is weak, but the one underestimated. Balanced exploitation ensures dominance without inciting unnecessary counterforce. Emotional intelligence is central to this mastery. People act through desire, fear, and pride. Understanding the hierarchy of these motivators allows the strategist to predict reactions and create scenarios where choices seem inevitable yet favor his interests. The mind that anticipates emotion and guides it gently, subtly, becomes nearly untouchable. Because others act in ways they believe are autonomous while following the path laid by unseen influence. Even allies and neutral parties are subject to this awareness. Their loyalty, commitment, and trust fluctuate based on perception and circumstance. Recognize subtle cracks in allegiance, tendencies toward doubt, or susceptibility to persuasion. By preemptively managing these dynamics, you reinforce your position and convert potential risk into additional advantage. Control is not merely the absence of opposition. It is the proactive orchestration of all interactions to strengthen influence. Finally, recognize that weakness is a mirror. To exploit others effectively, you must first understand and master your own vulnerabilities. Fear, overconfidence, or impulsiveness can be your downfall if unaddressed. The strategist works relentlessly to fortify the self, ensuring that while others reveal their flaws, his own remain concealed, managed, and leveraged only when advantageous. In this alignment of internal strength with external observation, power becomes not just attainable, but sustainable. By reading human nature, observing behavior, and acting with calculated patience, the strategist converts weakness into leverage. The unprepared falters, the naive is ensnared, and the observant, adaptable, and disciplined mind rises above conflict unscathed. To dominate without unnecessary struggle, one must see what others cannot, anticipate what they ignore, and strike in harmony with the natural vulnerabilities of human behavior. In this, the mind becomes untouchable, the will unshakable, and the path to mastery clear. Number 5, mastering influence and controlling outcomes. Power is seldom brute. It is subtle, invisible, and far-reaching. The true strategist understands that influence is the currency of dominance. Every interaction, every conversation, and every gesture carries weight. To control outcomes, one must first command perception. The world reacts not to reality alone, but to the version of reality it believes exists. By shaping what others see, hear, and infer, the strategist guides decisions without overt confrontation, ensuring that outcomes bend effortlessly toward his advantage. Perception is malleable. People interpret events through bias, desire, and fear. Recognizing this, the strategist does not merely present facts, he frames them. A word, a look, a carefully timed pause can change the trajectory of a conversation, a negotiation, or even a relationship. The key is subtlety. Make the target feel autonomous, as if their choices are self-determined, while every pathway you have constructed nudges them toward your intended outcome. Influence without awareness is influence without resistance. Control begins with information. Knowledge of intentions, desires, and vulnerabilities equips the strategist with the tools necessary to guide decisions. But information alone is inert. One must synthesize, anticipate reactions, and orchestrate interactions with precision. Timing is crucial. A revelation too early loses impact, too late risks irrelevance. The strategist becomes an architect of outcomes, designing interactions so carefully that success appears inevitable, yet natural. Authority is less about force and more about the projection of competence and confidence. People follow those they believe are unshakable, decisive, and knowledgeable. Master these qualities and the obedience of others becomes a tool, not a demand. Speak with clarity, act with purpose, and present an unwavering exterior, even when uncertainty simmers beneath. The mind that inspires confidence without relying on intimidation wields a form of control that is both durable and invisible. Manipulation, when executed with finesse, transforms challenges into advantages. By subtly steering emotions, framing narratives, and exploiting expectations, one can convert potential resistance into cooperation. Conflict is rarely necessary when influence is exerted strategically. The goal is not mere compliance, but alignment, to have others act in ways that fulfill your objectives while believing they pursue their own. In this alignment lies the power to control outcomes effortlessly. Anticipation is the silent weapon of mastery. Predicting how individuals and groups will respond allows the strategist to set conditions in advance, preempt obstacles, and neutralize opposition before it manifests. Those who react impulsively are at the mercy of circumstance. Those who anticipate become architects of reality. The ability to foresee reactions and prepare contingencies is the distinction between surviving and dominating. The strategist must also understand the psychology of escalation. Pressure amplifies behavior. Tension exposes character. By subtly applying stress, one can reveal true motives, incite mistakes, and exploit hidden desires. This does not necessitate cruelty. It requires observation, patience, and precision. The most effective control is often invisible, guiding events from behind the scenes while others remain unaware of the influence shaping their choices. Relationships are another battlefield for influence. Alliances must be cultivated with intention, trust must be measured, and loyalty tested. Understanding the motivations and weaknesses of allies allows one to reinforce support where it is strongest and mitigate potential betrayal before it arises. A strategist strengthens bonds not through sentiment, but through calculated reciprocity, shared goals, and the perception of mutual benefit. Influence over allies extends reach and fortifies control across multiple fronts. Language is a tool of unparalleled power. Words can inspire, intimidate, mislead, and persuade. The phrasing of ideas, the rhythm of speech, and the deployment of silence all contribute to shaping perception. A strategist wields language to construct reality, guide decisions, and provoke desired responses. Subtle suggestion often outweighs explicit command, as the mind that believes in autonomy is easier to guide than one that perceives manipulation. Observation of patterns magnifies influence. People act predictably when emotions, routines, and habits dominate their choices. By mapping these behaviors, the strategist identifies pressure points, windows of opportunity, and likely reactions. Each interaction then becomes an experiment, each conversation a test, and each response a data point to refine further action. Through continuous observation and adaptation, influence grows exponential, far beyond what force alone could achieve. Control also requires restraint. Overexposure of power, premature action, or blatant manipulation erodes influence. The strategist acts invisibly, ensuring that interventions feel natural to others, almost as if the unfolding events are self-directed. The less one is noticed, the greater the control. Subtlety is strength. Obvious force is vulnerability. By mastering restraint, the strategist converts perception into power and observation into dominance. Conflict, when unavoidable, is approached with foresight. The strategist does not engage randomly or reactively, but prepares meticulously, exploiting weaknesses and leveraging previously gathered knowledge. Victory is not measured merely by defeating an opponent, but by achieving objectives while preserving resources, alliances, and future influence. Every action is calculated for maximum effect, minimum cost, and enduring control over consequences. The strategist also manipulates expectation. By creating patterns of predictability, one sets traps for those who seek to anticipate behavior. Conversely, occasional unpredictability keeps adversaries uncertain, cautious, and reactive. The duality of consistency and surprise ensures that others operate within the boundaries of your influence, while remaining off balance enough to be guided subtly by your strategy. Finally, mastery of outcomes demands continuous reflection and adaptation. No single tactic guarantees permanent control. Circumstances shift, individuals evolve, and alliances change. The strategist reviews actions, observes results, and recalibrates methods to maintain dominance. Influence is dynamic, not static. Power is sustainable only through constant vigilance, adjustment, and the relentless pursuit of alignment between perception, behavior, and objectives. In this relentless orchestration of influence, the mind becomes untouchable. Decisions bend in subtle obedience, outcomes align with intent, and control is exercised without exposure. The strategist, unseen yet omnipresent, guides reality with a quiet, ruthless precision. Victory is not measured in battles fought or enemies defeated, but in the effortless achievement of goals, the shaping of perception, and the unseen mastery over the course of events. Number 6. Becoming the unseen force. Total strategic mastery. To become truly unstoppable, one must embrace the power of invisibility. The greatest masters of influence and dominance rarely announce their presence. Their power is measured not by the noise they make, but by the ripples they create. Like a shadow in motion, the strategist moves unseen, observing, guiding, and shaping reality, while others remain unaware. True control requires that your hand be felt but never seen, your mind influencing outcomes without exposing itself to scrutiny or resistance. The art of invisibility begins with self-discipline. Every action must be intentional, every word measured, every expression controlled. Emotions, when displayed unchecked, betray weakness. They provide clues for manipulation by others. The strategist suppresses need for approval, desire for recognition, and impulses that might reveal internal states. By projecting calm, certainty, and composure, the mind becomes a fortress, unassailable, inscrutable, and commanding. Strategic patience is the key to mastery. Immediate gratification is the trap of the impulsive. Long-term domination requires waiting for the precise moment to act. Observation replaces reaction, anticipation replaces impulse, and foresight replaces hope. The world is full of those who act without planning, who exhaust themselves in futile displays of effort. The strategist, however, moves with precision, striking only when conditions guarantee maximum impact and minimal resistance. Control over perception is absolute. The strategist understands that people do not react to truth, they react to narrative. By controlling the stories that others tell themselves, by guiding interpretations of events and interactions, the strategist ensures that the outcome aligns with their intention. This requires subtlety, a mastery of suggestion, and an acute understanding of human psychology. When perception aligns with intent, influence is inevitable. When perception diverges, subtle correction guides it back on track. Secrecy is not merely protective, it is empowering. By withholding plans, motivations, and capabilities, the strategist maintains leverage over allies and adversaries alike. The less others know, the more power one wields. Transparency may appear virtuous, but it exposes vulnerabilities. Silence is strength. Ambiguity is advantage. The mind that reveals nothing remains unpredictable, untouchable, and dominant. The strategist also understands the value of controlled risk. Absolute caution leads to stagnation. Reckless aggression leads to exposure. The mastery lies in calculated action, choosing when to provoke, when to retreat, when to observe. Every decision carries potential consequences, and the successful strategist weighs these meticulously, balancing risk with reward to ensure continued advancement without unnecessary vulnerability. Flexibility is the hallmark of dominance. Situations change, alliances shift, and circumstances evolve. Those rigid in thought and method are easily cornered, manipulated, and defeated. The master strategist adapts seamlessly, reshaping tactics and strategies in real time. Like water flowing around obstacles, their influence navigates complexities with fluid precision, maintaining control regardless of challenges. Mastery also involves understanding the hidden motivations of others. Every person operates from desire, fear, ambition, or insecurity. By perceiving these drives, the strategist predicts behavior, preempts resistance, and leverages influence to align actions with desired outcomes. This does not require manipulation at every turn, but an acute awareness of what compels choices and how subtle interventions can steer them. Knowledge of human nature becomes a weapon, sharpened by observation and applied with discretion. Delegation is another pillar of unseen power. No strategist can control every detail personally. By placing capable individuals in positions of responsibility, while subtly guiding their decisions through suggestion, oversight, and selective intervention, the strategist extends influence exponentially. Allies become instruments of strategy, their actions amplifying objectives while maintaining the appearance of independent initiative. This is the unseen network through which domination flows silently. Decisive action, when necessary, is swift and uncompromising. The strategist avoids hesitation, for doubt is contagion and delay invites opposition. When the moment is optimal, execution is absolute, leaving no opportunity for reversal. This decisiveness builds reputation, reinforces perception of competence, and strengthens influence. Observers may never understand the depth of planning behind each move, but they recognize the certainty and inevitability of results. Emotional mastery is critical. Attachment, resentment, or unchecked pride compromises judgment. The strategist cultivates emotional detachment, not indifference but clarity. Decisions are guided by rational assessment, long-term vision, and strategic advantage rather than momentary impulses or personal grievance. By mastering emotion, the mind becomes resilient, impervious to manipulation, and capable of sustaining focus under pressure. The strategist cultivates foresight as a weapon. Anticipating shifts in relationships, power dynamics, and circumstances allows preemptive adjustments. Contingency plans, flexible strategies, and layered preparations ensure that challenges are neutralized before they manifest fully. By foreseeing reactions and orchestrating conditions, the strategist maintains advantage, shaping reality in subtle yet irreversible ways. Influence must be reinforced continuously. The strategist does not act once and retreat. Mastery is sustained through persistent, deliberate action. Relationships are nurtured, narratives are guided, and perception is managed. Influence decays if neglected. Power is maintained through attention, observation, and ongoing strategic intervention. The mind that remains vigilant remains untouchable, while complacency invites erosion of control. Ultimately, the strategist achieves a state of silent dominance. Others may act, resist, or challenge, but all are operating within parameters subtly established by unseen guidance. Outcomes unfold with a sense of inevitability, yet appear organic. Mastery is not measured in visible triumphs, but in the quiet orchestration of events, the invisible shaping of reality, and the enduring alignment of perception, decision, and consequence. In this final stage, the strategist is untouchable. The mind moves unseen, the hand guides unnoticed, and the will shapes events imperceptibly. Influence is total, control is absolute, and the strategist operates beyond scrutiny, beyond challenge, and beyond vulnerability. The ruthless art of unseen mastery completes the transformation. The mind becomes invincible, the strategist unassailable, and victory a natural, inescapable outcome.